that's what Pollywinner 6 is for. So we're going to actually move into the moonshot idea, right? And if you've known me for, 10 plus years, you know that I deeply think that we should, or that my purpose in life is more or less to terraform the Sahara Desert. So, one of the things is to be able to, as I kind of mentioned, and I keep mentioning, is that transforming deserts into habitats through visionary innovation, right? And part of it is that plants and trees are probably the best carbon capture device ever. It is natural. It also helps cool the planet, but also reverses global warming. But also, if we plant not just trees, but also, food, they do sequester carbon into the ground. And so when I think about how do I go about building a multifaceted approach towards building a better future, P3 really stands at the intersection of all the things that I really want to do. It is the combination of me figuring out how to run businesses more efficiently, automating different processes in businesses, to being able to do that with multiple businesses and multiple partners. In a different video, actually, in playlist, we will talk about partners and how Pollywinner 6 will attract partners, how Pollywinner 6 will build a subsidiaries and be a conglomerate of different decentralized organizations, and how those can actually all come together towards compounding and having this emergent property of us working towards terraforming the desert, learning how to do that, growing more plants. And let me be clear here, when I say terraforming the desert, a very important distinction is not that I'm gonna go to the Sahara Desert, amass an army, and conquer people and force this reality upon them. You can choose to be part of this, and you don't necessarily also have to be in a desert to be able to be more efficient at being able to grow plants, trees, and actually improving the living conditions of the reality that you live in. It is just a shorthand, and it's also just a moonshot vision, similar to taking people to Mars, that would force us to develop the technologies to be able to improve the production of more or less plants and Pollywinner 6 kind of does this, is the production of food, but it was also the 3D printing of infrastructure, and also the bringing of both those things together towards also finding ways to generate energy in a sustainable way. That stuff, right? Because part of it, we're talking about branding here. We're talking about what do these brands represent? What do they focus on, and how do they communicate? And how does what they communicate compound into people realizing, A, we can define the future we want to live in, and here's how this guy has defined the future he wants to live in, and here's how he's working towards it, and here's what he's accomplished in the journey of working towards it. Here's what he's learned. Maybe you can use his learnings to be able to actually help yourself be able to define the future you want locally in your current local reality. I'm in Colombia right now, but let's say I was in the United States, I was in Kenya. I'd be able to watch these videos and kind of piece together, okay, this guy is kind of working towards this. I think that if I do this, it can connect to that thing he's doing, or I can use that thing he's building to be able to help me achieve these things locally. Because there's a lot of people who are figuring a lot of different ways to terraform the desert, or improving living conditions, or 3D printing houses, and how can we make that more sustainable for other people to do. A lot of people, because I do stand for this, and my closest friends do know me for this, do tag me in videos and share videos with me of people who are actively working towards terraforming the desert. So I'm not saying that I will do terraforming the desert. I'm saying that I want to build a brand that champions, shares, and shows people that it is possible, that it's not a illusion, it's not a fiction, it's not something that is impossible.